All right, perfect, Seth. It's fantastic to see you today. Tell me a little bit about what you do for CI Web Group.
Very happily employed by CI Web Group. I'm a, senior SEO strategist working underneath our SEO team and happily helping companies win for the SERP and help get their brand and their services out to the people who need them.
When you build a traditional website using WordPress and have this, enormous website addressing traditional search through mass amounts of content related to various services and locations and everything else, you technically are hurting potentially your SGE, AI, and voice search because now you have this heavily weighted website that's slow like molasses, dragged down by plugins and code and everything else. So, where's the sweet spot? How do you address traditional search, voice search, which requires these are majority is going to be mobile,
Right.
and AI search, which you've got a large language model evaluating your content, and there has to be, I would assume, some type of large language module format to the way the content's structured if it's evaluating its own style of content, right? How do you address all three?
I found in whatever endeavor I'm working toward, the key word for all these things is compromise. Compromise is at the root of everything, especially when we talk about our relationship with technology. If you talk about the way that these searches sort of interplay with one another. So I would say with traditional, you want to be asking yourself, is what I'm putting on this website relevant to what the user needs, right? And if it's not, then I'm bloating it, but either because I want to win for a keyword or because, and this is a challenge for any company, is that companies want to talk about themselves on their websites because they feel like that presents an authority. And that is not entirely inaccurate, but we have to find the compromise within that says, if we are talking about ourselves, aren't we talking to ourselves? Right. Right. And I think when you talk about the interplay with so I want to build a website that is effective for the user, because the user is the one that vocal search is listening to, and AI is the one they are specifically building large language models to be able to help the user. So at the root of it is, if we're working across all three of those, we can find a commonality for our compromise, which is the user. How do I solve the user's problem effectively? And if we do that, if we build content toward either educating the user or empowering the user, then we are fulfilling the needs of all three of those search parameters.
When does it make sense to say, all right, you spent all this money on this site, it hasn't been performing, you've went through 2 or 3 agencies, it's still not performing. At some point, is it the technology that has to get fixed? Is it like trying to put in high performance tires on a Pinto?
Right. No, and it can lean the client into a sunk cost fallacy, where they think, we've invested so much into this website. It's, this is what we have. This is what we have to use. We can't imagine spending more resources on it. And I totally get that because there is sort of an economy to there's a point where you have to say, this is what we have, but ultimately there are things an SEO can do along with a skilled team of developers to look at a website to say, how do we build, and for me, this is the phrase I'll always use, how do we build a technically excellent environment? And there are always things you can do. There's going to be the examination of the largest contentful paint, which you're going to be able to reduce simply by changing the size of the images on the website. You can prune down code, CSS, make sure that you're lazy loading, and if to try and speed up, especially for mobile, you can do those things, and you can sort of start to trim down the amount of front end server load that you need in order for the website to be quick. Now, are we going to inherit things where we're saying this is, this problem is too big for the goal that we have right now, then I would talk to the client and say, if the goal, I would want to always clarify exactly what the goal is. Is the goal to make the site faster so that it performs better? Here are the things I can do in the short term to course correct. And then here are the things that we can have planned down the road. When we feel like we've corrected course, we can finally open up all the sails on all masts and finally go full speed. And ultimately that comes down to having clear communication with the client and saying, this is what I can do for you now. This is what I want us to achieve in the future. And here's the roadmap that I have to get us there, or to keep with the sailing metaphor, the compass, right?
I see people posting online all the time that they have the trick, the button, the easy button to be able to get very fast results, huge wins, for very low amounts of investment. And it makes my brain hurt. Is there any trick to fooling the giant and winning with a low amount of energy, either in money, resources, the same thing? Are there any tricks?
I don't like calling them tricks because I'm not an illusionist, right? But what I will say is this, and I'm always upfront with the client or anyone I'm talking to about SEO, is that there is no silver bullet. It does not exist, right? But I firmly believe in what I think is empathetic SEO. And that is, I am considering the client's goals, understanding that their desire is twofold. Number one, they want to be successful. Number two, they want to provide a service that they believe deeply in, right? And that's why they have employees who, for us, especially in HVAC, they hire people they believe who can go out. And when if you were to ask most simply to an HVAC company, what does your company do? We fix people's homes. That's what we do. We fix their problem, and we hire people to be able to go out and do that. And it will always be true, at least for me, that SEO is a team sport, right? And the goal for the team is to help the user win. Because when the user wins, it means that the client that we service, that we shook hands with and said, we want people to come to you to solve their problem because you are effective and good at solving that problem for people. The problem gets solved for the user. That becomes a gained client for our client. And then you have a client who will return. And then you build a spine of a company based upon those returning users.